welcome to podcast number 14 with your boy Angelo. And let's start off this podcast right. All right. And before I begin in earnest here, I want to first say congratulations to, me, because I managed to put all of the podcasts that I've done, 1 through 13, up on YouTube. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I know. Now, I've never felt more like a boomer than trying to figure out how to do just that. I'm not going to lie to you people. It probably took me 3 to 4 days to finally figure out how to do it. And I must have downloaded 5 or 6 different services, uploaded them, format change, file changes, you name it. Finally, an old manager friend of mine, his name is Sam, he hooked me up with a good service and kind of walked me through how to use it. Sam is the guy I want to have on the podcast one of these days, and because ultimately, people, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I envisioned it doing before coronavirus ripped the rug out from underneath me, was that I wanted to bring in friends, family, and then people that I just see every day, whether people at the coffee shop or my doctor or my dentist or the lady that does my pedicures. I want to bring them in and talk to them. I want to talk to normal people. Not everything needs to be from celebrities or athletes or stuff like that. And, but yeah, they're up on YouTube. So like and subscribe. I never thought I'd say that. And start leaving comments. Let's make this more interactive than it currently is. And I will always look at comments and I will do my damnedest to answer them if you leave them there. And, those fucking assholes at YouTube. Now, I know I played a lot of music in the past, but oh my god, they're real sons of bitches. And I thought I could get away with like 10 seconds here, 20 seconds there. Nope, nothing, nada. And music is such a big part of what I want to do here, but that's shitty. I don't know what I'm going to do on that. I have to think about it because I really do want to play music, but I also want my stuff played, and I'm not worried about monetization. Because, I'm a narcissist, but I'm not that much of one. I'm not doing this to make money, is what I'm trying to say. I'm doing this for entertainment, for myself and for y'all. So, yep, it's on YouTube and still on SoundCloud, and I'm working on getting it on some other platforms, but in the meantime, I think SoundCloud and YouTube's a good start. And, speaking of feeling like a boomer because of technology limitations, it also took me about a week to figure out how I could do an Instagram story post with music. Oh, God, these Gen Z social media apps are killing me, but I'm pretty sure Instagram has been around a long time, and I'm just dumb. But we got that going, too, so hey. So, let's kick things off by addressing something that I know we've all thought about. Well, by we, I mean everybody that's not of the Asian culture descent. Why is there virtually no cheese in any Asian cuisine? Now think about this before I answer the question, because I've spent some time researching this. I love Asian food, particularly Chinese and Thai food. And that's not saying I don't like Japanese and Korean and Vietnamese and blah, 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 blah. I actually don't know if there is a Asian cuisine that I don't like. So why no cheese? Because my family is pretty much 50% WASP, white ass honky bitches, and then the other half is loud, hairy Italian. And with that loud, hairy, greasy Italian, cheese was everywhere. And when I would eat my mother's side, the WASPs, there was cheese everywhere. However, I'm 34 years old now, and I have rarely, I'm talking maybe twice in my whole life, have had cheese with Asian cuisine. So, you probably thought of this too. What the fuck's going on? Let me tell you why. From a historical perspective, the topography of Asian countries wasn't conducive to raising large herds of cattle. Duh, we get our cheese from cows mostly. In fact, farms in China, Japan, and Southeast Asia were typically minuscule by feudal European estate standards, so they didn't develop husbandry specific to cows. Their livestock tended to be smaller animals like chickens, pigs, goats, and sheep. In many ways, the question is like asking, why is there virtually no soy products in European cuisine? Indubitably, I have never had soy until I was in college, and I was scared to eat it. And what else? The lactose intolerance is a result of this fact. Pigs are easier to raise because of the terrain and their tolerance for all kinds of environments. So it is strange because there's and by the way, there's a sub question here, which I never thought of until now. Goats have cheese and sheep have cheese. So now let me see if there's an answer for that one. Oh, it's easy. Since dairy wasn't typically part of the diet, many Asians are lactose intolerant. Thus, it doesn't matter if there's goat or sheep. And we've already discovered that there was no cattle being raised. So there you go, people. I've answered the unanswerable. Why Asian cuisines have no milk. Speaking of chickens, I know a podcast or two ago I was covering chimpanzees and orcas, killer whales, and why they're assholes. However, I'm here to tell you that I can add another animal to the asshole list. Chickens. Now, we've all can come to an agreement here and say, well, I already know roosters are assholes. Those cocks are dicks. However, chickens are just as bad. Do you know that they actually will peck and eat live prey? Like, they will eat a rat, a mouse, snakes, lizards, frogs, pretty much anything that's smaller than them. They will peck it and kick it to death, and then they will eat it. And not only that, if a chicken gets wounded in like I don't know what you call a harem of chickens, but if one chicken gets injured and it's bleeding, they will attack and kill that chicken too. But instead of me trying to remember what I read a couple weeks ago, let me just pull it up now. You've heard of the pecking order, right? Well, it's very aptly named. Chickens literally peck each other to establish social order. I forgot to mention that earlier. Some groups are more vicious than others, but it's not unheard of for a flock to starve or pick a bird at the bottom of the pecking order to death. That is insanity. And then this person that's writing this article kind of tells a personal story. I lost a Polish hen after she was literally scalped by her flock mates in an afternoon for no apparent reason. Man, that's some weird-ass shit. Chickens are scalping one another? God damn. Preventing boredom, lots of room, and keeping the rooster number down will go a long way towards preventing aggression. However, now this is what I was saying earlier, blood will set off a frenzy, and wounds are like chicken crack. They just can't get enough of them. That's crazy. And then again, the writer kind of tells a personal story here. One of the Spitzhauben broke a blood feather on her tail, and within minutes, she was tailless and pretty beat up. Spitzhausen. I'm guessing that's a German chicken. That's crazy. So it just broke a feather on her tail, and then the other chicken just kicked the shit out of it. If I hadn't stopped back to check on them, she would have been killed. Chickens don't save their ire for other adult chickens either. Sometimes hens will sit for 3 weeks, hatch babies, and then move on with their lives, leaving the chicks behind. Other times, they will kill the baby chickens as they hatch. Damn. One day, I came home to find an abandoned chick chirping blindly in the corner because the other birds had pecked its eyes out. Fuck! Chickens are assholes, man. So, there you go. Chimpanzees declare war, orcas kill for no reason, and chickens peck each other's eyes out because they're bored. So basically what I'm saying is we need to eat more chickens because they are assholes. Oh, what a way to kick off the podcast. Me just talking about Asian food and cheese and asshole animals. I mean, we're not even 10 minutes in and I feel like this one's going to be a good podcast. All right, let's see. Let's move on to something more substantial. So, my mother came over and visited about 2 weeks ago, maybe? I don't know. And she's been watching The X-Files, and we watched a couple episodes, and I think it was like season 5 or so, and it was in the late 90s, I think 97 or 98. Now, when that came out, these episodes that I saw, when they came out, I was probably 11 or 12. And I remember how horrified The X-Files made me. I would watch a few episodes, I'd have trouble sleeping, I'd have nightmares, I'd be tired in the morning, it would fuck me up for a while. And so I was a little bit nervous of watching it, but I gotta tell you, after watching 3 episodes with Mama Grosso, I started to laugh, because, it's pretty bad. It's like B-movie horror, but it's pretty funny. It's still enjoyable. It's still a damn good show. But it's just so funny how, from 97 to 2020, how something could look so scary and so freaky, and it would fuck me up. And now I'm watching it, I'm like, really? That scared me? That scared me? So, now, I think the ultimate test on this theory is to watch the same episodes that scared the bejesus out of me back then. Because the 3 episodes I saw, they weren't that scary. There was one about a little girl that was like autistic or some shit, and she had a doll, but it was like a, what do you call it, a ventriloquist doll? Was it ventriloquist? It wasn't a ventriloquist. I take that back. It was just a doll, but it was like a haunted, creepy doll. And like the doll would say, "I want to play," and the little girl would like close her eyes, or the doll's eyes would open, and like crazy shit would go down. People would be trying to like rip their eyes out and stuff. And it was pretty. Now that episode would have scared me a lot if I'd been like 10, 11, or 12. Now the second episode, I believe, was about. Oh God, was that the computer virus one? I think it was. I saw 3, but I don't remember what the third one was, unfortunately. It was a while ago. So, the other episode I remember was that there was a computer virus created by a hacker that was actually killing people. The virus somehow became sentient, and it was going on the internet and trying to start shit with like different factions to find the creator, and it got the creator of the virus killed. Like, this guy was at a cafe trying to like beat the virus, because I guess the virus was been spreading for months now, and now it's got a mind of its own and it's causing havoc. And so the creator of the virus was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you down." He was talking to the computer like a real mook. And then the virus was like sending out alerts to like all these drug dealers and mafia people in the area to say, "Hey, so and so took all your money. They're at this cafe," coincidentally where that guy was. And so all of these mobsters and drug dealers show up, and then I think the feds show, and there was just a massive shootout, and everybody died, including the guy who created it. Spoiler. And so Mulder and Scully have to figure out what the fuck's going on. Again, that one didn't age well, because it was like the 1997 interpretation of what hacking was. So you had all these people dressed up like B-level Matrix movies, like everyone's wearing black and leather and makeup, and like they're almost punk rockers. You're like, okay, calm down. Just because they know how to code doesn't mean they're, in the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was just funny how something that scared me so badly all those years ago, now I can just look at and laugh at. I can enjoy it. But again, the test is, let's watch the Freak Show episode, because that, even when I think about it, I get a little creeped out. And I think the Native American monster, mud monster underneath the new house or something, maybe I'm confusing it with the Poltergeist, the movie. I don't know. But anyway, it is pretty funny. Now, I have another addiction, and that is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, again, that's another show that when it came out, I was like, not for me. I think it came out in 2007, and I was in college, and I was like, I'm not going to watch cartoons, even though I was watching Family Guy and Simpsons and American Dad and South Park. So I was watching a lot of cartoons. Spoiler, I still watch a lot of cartoons. And also, I thought Avatar: The Last Airbender was based on the James Cameron movie Avatar that came out a couple of years before that. So I just was like, not interested. But over time, I kept seeing these memes, and I kept hearing about it, and people on Reddit and Imager kept talking about how it's a masterpiece series. It's one of the greatest cartoons ever made. Blah, 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 blah. I think IMDb has it in the 9s or something. And I said, okay, let me at least give it a shot. I have watched so much of that shit, and I love it. I love it. So, if you want to start something that looks like it's going to be for kids and looks like it's going to be something light, not for you. If you want to watch some funny but in-depth geopolitical, it deals with child warriors, it deals with nationalism. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And the crux of it, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm only in the 2nd season, so it's not like I know everything about it. So maybe I shouldn't go on and on and on. However, I will say this. I'm loving it. I wish I watched it sooner. I can understand why people lose their shit over it. I can understand all the cosplay and all the memes and the high placement on top shows, top cartoons of all time. So yeah, check it out. The whole series is streaming on Netflix, and I think they just released a add-on, like a sequel following the same characters, but now they're older. So I'm pretty excited to start that. I'm just pumped that I'm finally into this world of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I did finally watch that Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie, and I gotta say, it wasn't a good movie. I was expecting a lot shittier of a movie than it actually was. In fact, for a DC movie, I liked it better than Justice League. I liked it better than Suicide Squad. I would say I liked it better than Aquaman. Aquaman was just, I feel like I was having a seizure for 2 hours. There was just so much shit happening. I still liked Batman v Superman better. I know that's a lot of people shit on that movie, and I understand why, but I enjoyed it more. I would say Birds of Prey was probably as good as Shazam. Now, Shazam was another movie that I didn't expect to like, but I did. I liked how it was kind of dorky and how they kept it pretty light. It wasn't full of itself. So, yeah. Margot Robbie was, of course, excellent again as Harley Quinn. But I really did like some of the new cast members that they're bringing into the universe and the ones they didn't kill. I really liked Ewan McGregor's Black Mask. And yes, I know, nerds, it wasn't the standard comic book friendly, the actual comic book friendly lore version of Black Mask. Give me a break. It was good to see a different kind of villain. And who doesn't like Ewan McGregor? If you don't like Ewan McGregor, go step in front of a semi. I liked Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was the Huntress. I like how they kind of played her. She wasn't in the movie very much. That was something that kind of pissed me off. But yeah, and I like Chris Messina. He played Victor Zsasz, and I thought he was a pretty comic book accurate representation of him. I'm not going to spend all this time on a dorky DC movie, but anyway, I just wanted to say it was surprisingly good, in my opinion. I still wouldn't give it a high rating. Out of 1 out of 10, I'd give it like a 5.3, 5.4 maybe. I was expecting a 4, I really was, so almost a 6. I think that was a success in my book. Check out Birds of Prey if it's free. I wouldn't pay for it. I rented it for $3, and I still think I got scammed. However, I did just see the trailer for the new Suicide Squad, and you know what? They're fooling me again because I'm pretty excited to watch that movie. So, I don't know. I haven't learned my lesson of these superhero movies. The Wonder Woman sequel, I'll still see it, of course. It looks good. I like any movie that takes place in the 80s and they kind of embrace the absurdity and the brashness and the loudness of the 80s. And the new Batman movie looks dank. Now, I'm a sucker for Batman. I love Batman. I would have to say my top superheroes, it's Batman and Spider-Man are my number 2, of my top 2 in each respective fields, Marvel and DC. The new Batman movie, I'm so excited that they're focusing on Riddler and Penguin because I don't know if Colin Farrell, who's playing Penguin, can outdo Danny DeVito's Penguin. Because to me, outside Heath Ledger's Joker, Danny DeVito's Penguin is the best villain of all Batman movies. Yes, he's better than Jack Nicholson. Yes, he's better than the guy that played Two-Face and Tom Hardy as Bane, and you can go down the list. Yes. He's better than all of them. Heath Ledger, in my opinion, is the best, and then Danny DeVito. Now, Jim Carrey's Riddler was just over the top. It was more comedic than anything. And he's basically playing a version of The Mask in Ace Ventura. Is it Ventura or Ace Ventura? Whatever. I need to watch those movies again. It's been a while. And who's playing the Riddler? Paul Dano, who's an amazing actor. He's good in everything I see him in. Even shit movies, he's really good in. Check out There Will Be Blood. And then Prisoners, I think, the movie he did with Hugh Jackman. I think it's Prisoners. So yeah, they got 2 really good actors playing some villains who haven't really gotten their spotlight in a long time. Thank God it's not another Joker. I'm just sick of it. Now, Joaquin Phoenix Joker was a masterpiece. Don't kid me on that. But it wasn't really a Batman superhero movie. It was a standalone kind of psychological character study. Oh man, was it ever? I have never thought I was going to get shot at by a bunch of incels more than when I saw the Joker. I never saw more neckbeard, pimply, fat white men by themselves with their jorts than I did watching the fucking Joker movie. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh yeah, the guy that's playing Batman, the guy, what's his name? Oh, from, you know who I'm talking about. But no, I'm excited for it. I saw the Black Adam teaser. That looks good. But the one I'm excited almost as much as the Batman movie. It's probably neck and neck with the Batman and Suicide Squad, the sequel. The reason I think the Suicide Squad sequel is going to be really good, it's got a damn good director in James Gunn. It has just a ginormous cast. So you know that some of these cast members are going to be getting killed, and that's going to be fun. I love watching movies where the heroes get killed. That's why Deadpool 2 was so much fun. Because I got all those superheroes and spoiler, and if you haven't seen Deadpool 2, then what are you doing with your life? All of them died in like 5 minutes. So that's what I think is going to happen in the Suicide Squad sequel. And I'm looking forward to it. I like those kind of movies, you know? It's a little entertainment, you know? And that's what we need right now. I mean, the world is so fucking bleak right now. We need entertainment, you know? We need escapism. I can't wait for that Christopher Nolan movie to come out, Tenet. I know that's getting pushed back and back and back, but I will see it. I'm excited for it. But yeah, I think we need as much entertainment as possible these days that's not political or coronavirus related. I mean, good God, the Republican National Convention is airing as we speak, and I don't watch that. You know, I don't watch Circle Jerks, and so I don't know. I need new movies. I think we all do. And you know, speaking of the Republican National Convention, I was thinking if there was any justice in this country, we would have four, at least, at the bare minimum, we'd have four main political parties. You would have the two Republican and two Democratic. And the first one would be, now you can't call it far right because it would piss off everyone who believes in it, but let's face facts. It's the far right, evangelical, extremist party. You know, the Jim Jordans, the Trumps, the, Gowdy, I think that's his name. That guy who looks like a Harry Potter villain from South Carolina with his white toupee looking hair. And then you would have the moderate Republicans like the Rubios and the Romneys, and if he was alive, the McCains. And then you would go to the moderate Democrats, which, let me tell you a little secret, everybody. There's not much difference between the moderate Republican and the moderate Democrats. But the moderate Democrats would be the Bidens, the Buttigiegs, the Amy Klobuchars, etc. And then you would have the progressive Democrats, the Bernies, the AOCs, the squad, if you will. And if they all got equal time on the media, equal time on the debates, I think that would make the country a little bit better. I don't think any party would get more than 30 to maybe low 40% of all the vote, which would be nice though, because you kind of can see where the party is. Not the party, I'm sorry, where the country is. And then you could have the Libertarians and the Green Party and the what so have you. But I really do think we need to just split up the Democrats and the Republicans because each party is having their own civil war. More so the Democrats, obviously, and it's much more out in the open, whereas the Republicans seem to take care of their shit in-house. But anyway, I didn't want to get into politics, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Who the fuck is texting me? Huh? Anyway, so let's move on here. Oh, and one more TV show that I watch, and I swear this is the last one. I know I just feel like I'm just recapping what I've been watching and telling you guys about it. It could be perceived as a little bit boring, but I'm gonna stop it after this. On Netflix, I binge watched Love on the Spectrum, and hot damn, was that an amazing program. The Australians have figured it out. You don't need to have all the sexiness that the American reality shows have. You don't need to have all the yelling and like weird drama that the British ones have. Just tell it like it is. Keep it light, keep it entertaining, and really show people that really haven't had the opportunity to be seen in a certain light. And this is why I loved Love on the Spectrum. I loved it so much. I must have watched it one day. My favorite person in the whole program was Maddie. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. It is so good. And I don't know about you, but I hadn't seen people that were on the spectrum in this kind of light before. I just haven't, And I learned some things. I thought I knew things that I was incorrect on. So not only was it entertaining, I also was learning some things too. And so there's only 5 episodes, they're about an hour a piece. And yeah, you just don't see autistic people like this, and it was real. And I think it's really important they showcase what they go through because it's what we go through. It's just everyone's nervous to go on dates because that's what the show is about. These are single autistic people going out on either their first date or they're talking about their first dates. They bring in ones that are dating, a married couple. I mean, I just haven't seen that before, and it was very eye-opening. So yeah, I learned some things and I was entertained. What else do you want? But I'm telling you, I love Maddie. I could watch an entire series that just follows her around. And the last episode that followed the married couple, I would watch an entire series dedicated to them as well. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. I think it would be something for the whole family to watch and maybe learn and maybe we could talk about it. Maybe play it in school. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting full of myself. I'm just because, and not to get off on a tangent here, but I'm going to do it anyway. People think that what they want is what everyone should want, and I know that's a generalization, but I just feel like when you say what everyone should do because you found it eye-opening or thought-provoking or this can bust some culture norms and blah 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 blah. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I think it would be nice to show love on the spectrum to as many people as they can. It's not dog shit like 90 Day Fiancé. I love 90 Day Fiancé, but that is just shows like that and like The Voice and American Idol, that's even on all these reality TV shows that kind of played to the lowest denominator. That's why we got Trump. No, I'm kidding. If you like those shows, fine. And I'm a hypocrite as well because obviously I enjoy some reality TV. I think everybody does, but it is kind of dumb fuck TV. But what are you gonna do? It's cheap entertainment. But yeah, let's move on. Let's see what else. Oh, the new books that I've been reading. So yes, as we all know, I finished The Water Dancer and I was really high on it. So the next book I started was a Jonathan Franzen novel. It was actually his first one, called The 27th City, and it was garbage. I probably read 40 pages in, and I said, I should have stopped at 10. So it's now sitting in my garage in the thrift store pile. Now, it was too bad because I actually really do like Jonathan Franzen. Is it Franzen or Franzen? I feel fancier when I say Franzen. Kind of like, is it LaCroix or LaCroix? I prefer LaCroix. But now Jonathan Franzen wrote The Corrections, which is one of my favorite books of all time. So I try to give all of his books a read, although now that I'm really thinking about it, I've only really enjoyed just the one that I like, The Corrections. The rest I haven't enjoyed at all. I think I tried reading Freedom. Was that the one with the bird on the cover? Let me see here. That was his. Yeah, that was his novel after The Corrections. I was super excited about that, and I didn't enjoy that book 1 minute. And then he has another one out called Purity, which I have not read, but really we're 1 for 4 because I read I think some short stories of his. I don't know. I've definitely read 4 things of his, but The Corrections. The Corrections. I would recommend that. And, feel free to recommend your books to me as well. I have probably 7 or 8 on my to-read list, but I'm always looking to add more. So, but yeah, if I would recommend The Corrections, it's a pretty dense novel. Some parts are an easier read than others. It's a real good in-depth character studies of about this family from the Midwest, I believe because I've read the book twice, but I haven't read it in probably 10 years maybe, so I'm a little bit hazy on the specifics, but it's an amazing novel, and I think it won, if it means anything to you, I think it won the Pulitzer or the Nobel or something. But no, the other one, The 27th City, strikeout. And I talked to some other friends that I know read as much as I do, and one of them tried reading it as well and saying, no, it was pretty brutal. However, not to end this on a low note, I have found another book that I'm enjoying, and it is by Amanda Coplin, Coplin. It's called The Orchardist, and for all of you listening to the Pacific Northwest, it's especially great because it takes place in the Pacific Northwest. I believe it takes place in it takes place somewhere in the farming areas of Washington. I don't know all the specifics. I'm only about 100 pages in, but I'm loving it so far. But let me give you a little bit of the description here. Set in the untamed American West, a highly original and haunting debut novel about a makeshift family whose dramatic lives are shaped by violence, love, and an indelible connection to the land. Already it sounds dank, and I didn't know that this was her debut novel. This makes it even better. At the turn of the 20th century, in a rural stretch of the Pacific Northwest in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains, a solitary orchardist named Talmadge carefully tends the grove of fruit trees he has cultivated for nearly half a century. And I'm not going to go in depth here because I want y'all to read it, but Amanda Copeland does a damn good job in only a couple pages really laying out this man Talmadge, and you really can envision him and you know him. He reminded me a little bit of my grandfather, but I think maybe I put some of that in there, but what are you going to do? And he is solitary, He has some family drama back in the day, which again, I don't want to spoil anything. But he kind of lives a quiet, by himself life. He doesn't really do much with others, and that's the way he likes it, and that's the way he aims to keep it. Although one day he sees that someone stole from him, and he spots, and because he's got acres and acres and acres of orchards, he sees two young pregnant women that they seem mute, and they're stealing from him, but they're living on his property, and that's where I will leave it. It's an amazing book so far. I mean, I'll keep y'all updated. I'm really enjoying this book. Am I enjoying it as much as The Water Dancer? Yes, I am. But it's a different kind of book. They're two completely different styles of books so far. So, anyway, check it out. The Water Dancer and The Orchardist. Money, money, money. Yum, yum, give me some. Oh, that noise. Sorry. I heard a noise and it distracted me. It's birds. I bought the world's best bird feeder. Trust me when I tell you, it's the best bird feeder. Nobody has a bird feeder like I do. All the birds love it. Just ask them. They all love Angelo's bird feeder. It's 24/7 birds. Well, I don't think there's birds at night. I take that back. So, I'm being dramatic again. But there'll be birds at my bird feeder when I wake up. And usually when I go upstairs to go night-night, there's usually something in there. Squirrels like to fuck with it. I'm sure there's insects. I'm sure there's nighttime creepy crawlers that like it. I don't know. All I'm saying is, I already kind of had a jungle going on back there with all the wildlife. Now I can add at least 4 types of birds that I can discern. I'm not entirely sure what kind of birds they are. Maybe that's a future project. Boy, isn't my life just full of adventure, everybody. Looking up birds that come to my house. And what else have I noticed out there? Yeah, a lot more squirrels, which is, 50-50. But I tell you, and I got to research this. Every now and then, I find like a tennis ball sized hole in my garden. It's not on the lawn. It's on the section where I have all my plants and shrubs and everything. And I thought they were slugs or something, but like now they're showing up all the time. And I don't know what the hell could be making perfectly round holes in the dirt. And there's never anything like by the holes. There's nothing that's in the holes that I can see. I usually cover them up or leave them depending. And yeah, they're all over there, all over my garden. I'm not sure what the hell's going on. It's not moles, I know that. I don't think they're mammals. I don't know. What the fuck do I know? Maybe I should check that out. But yeah, I don't know what it is about birds, but they just kind of calm me. I'm finding that now that I have bird sounds around the day, almost all the time, it's very peaceful, especially when I'm working or reading or just kind of resting. I find that if I get angry or stressed or depressed, in case I look at the news or something, they shot 2 more black men, 2 more unarmed in the back. What the fuck, right? And then I hear the birds and I'm like, okay, it's okay, peace. We can get through this somehow. I'll vote. Just vote, baby. Protest, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I don't know about y'all. Maybe leave a comment. What noises calm you? What sounds kind of make you chill? Is it rain? That does it for me too. The crashing of the waves. I mean, these are all common ones. I feel like most people find these things peaceful. But if you got a weird one, like I think certain frequency of bird sounds that I like, that calms me, is a bit weird. I don't know many people are calmed by bird sounds. I mean, I'm not talking like fucking parrots or cockatiels or like the ones that sound like those motherfucking howler monkeys, but you know what I'm talking about. These are nice little chirps. Maybe that's why I like them. They're chirps, not squawks. Crows, not peaceful. These little things, very peaceful. I think I'm seeing blue and yellow on them. Like I thought they were like little baby blue jays, but these things are definitely more finch-like or dove-like. So I'm going to check that shit out. I'm pretty excited about that. I like figuring out stuff like that. It gets my dick hard. So anyway, what are we talking about here? Oh yeah, so I think I mentioned earlier my mom came to visit. And, both my parents, I should state this first, are old. They were in their early to mid 70s. I think my dad's 73? 73? He will be 73, and my mother just turned 70. So, but they look it. They look it. And this was the first time in my life where on like pretty back-to-back visits, I saw my mom look her age, and I just left the old man's house a couple hours ago, and he looked his age. And And I was like, oh shit. They're my parents, but they're also like grandparents, you know? And, you know, I'm the only child. There's no one else. So I just saw that. I'm like, oh shit, that's going to be me taking care of them. And then I also thought kind of morbidly, well, I guess it's a good thing I bought a giant house. I can have these two move in. It'll be like a goddamn Golden Girls type situation. I would be this saucy Italian lady. I forget her name. Blanche. Blanche would be my dad because he's a slut. My mom would be more Betty White's character, you know, country. And I guess I'd be a mixture of Maude and then her mom. That's who I would be. I guess LaFonda could be Maude. What the fuck am I talking about? Just kill me. I would rather kill myself than do that, than have them do anything than moving in together with me. I joke. I'm not, you know, it's jokes, people. And, but yeah, it's been weighing on me because I've always been, in my kind of circle of friends, I've always been the one that has the older family. Because, you know, I wasn't planned, I was late. You know, my dad was in his 40s, and my mother was in her, I think, either early 40s or late 30s. So, you know, when you're having a kid at that age, you know, you don't really take into account how it's going to affect their lives growing up. I'm not saying my parents are bad for doing this, but, you know, it did have a effect on me. And now that I'm reasonably young, you know, I just turned 34, I still think that's young, you know. I can still gain and lose everything. But yeah, just seeing my parents just kind of shuffle along. They both complain constantly. And they both complain about everything in their body. Then they complain about people they see, businesses they go to, and don't even get them started on the news, especially Trump. And so usually my neck's with her because I just nod so much and I get a sore throat by just making this noise. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So I make those sounds and then I get tired very quickly and very easily. But I love them. I love them. They are my parents and I love them, but my God, I look at them more as grandparents almost in a sense. Like my mom has a hard time walking upstairs now, and she's like, I look at all my aunts and my uncle on my mother's side, and they all have problems with arthritis and all that stuff, and bad knees, bad hips, bad joints, everything. Not to mention the blood pressure, the cholesterol. Ugh. And then my dad, he had to break out his cane the other day because he just woke up and his lower back was so bad he could barely move, but, you know, he still wants to go out. And I took him to a couple hardware stores, and he had his cane, and he was talking shit the whole time with his cane, and I'm like, this guy looks like a WAP version of Mr. Magoo. Oh, man, I love it. Even with my cane, even with his cane, and he's kind of staggered walking, he's still talking shit like he could beat people up and how that cane could be used as a weapon. I'm like, all right. I would pay money to see that old man. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure some of you are in my situation. I don't even want to say this is a situation. It's just something that's been in my mind, and I'm just telling y'all about it. That my parents' age has become apparent, and there's no hiding from the fact that I'm going to have to play a part of their lives. I mean, I already do, but this is like a different kind of impact on their lives where I already do help them in many different ways, but now it's going to be like old people problems. And it's not like I have siblings that can help me out. I'm, you know, by myself in that regard. So, we'll see. Life's an adventure. Maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll bring us closer together. Maybe it'll bring us closer apart. Further apart, I mean. Closer apart. Oh, man, that dankage is strong tonight, people. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is I love my parents, but they're old as fuck. But they're my old as fuck parents, and I think that's okay. Alright, before I read from the diary to end this podcast, I thought of some more songs that could be good fits for the Star Spangled Banner replacement. And I'm not going to go down the list. Obviously, I'll try to recap this. Any song by Robert Palmer, Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young, ZZ Top, and, you know, classic rock with nice guitar solos, you know, arena rock. And I know Neil Young is Canadian, but who gives a fuck? And, just get some Heartland rock in there, baby. And that's, everyone can take their hat off and cover their heart to that one. Update things, man. We don't need to just keep doing things because we've always done them. Oh, it's tradition. Tradition shouldn't stress you out. It's old people's nonsense. So, and speaking of updating things, I don't know why we still have to do the Pledge of Allegiance every fucking day in school. It's kind of crazy, don't you think? It's a little mind controlling. It's not really teaching us anything about patriotism. It's more teaching us nationalism, in my opinion. And I think we could go a long way if we just stopped doing that and used it for, like, special occasions. And same thing with Star Spangled Banner. In certain circumstances, use it. If something is, like, truly speaking to the American dream or the American spirit, something like that. That's when you would use it. Don't use it 5 days a week right in the morning when all the kids and the teachers and the whole faculties are just like, oh, fuck, not another day with these kids. It's wasted. Why use it out of school? Come on. Do something that, like, a cult would do? I mean, it's weird. Thing about this, guys, if you see a commercial for a product all the time, the product's probably garbage. If the product is good, you don't need to keep selling them over and over and over again. And that's what I think the Pledge of Allegiance is. And so I would just update it, not with another pledge. Why are you pledging yourself to anything? You have freedom. This is America, baby. Do whatever you want when it comes to, like, pledging yourself to whatever. What I would do, get some exercise in these fat kids because, we're such a fat country. And we got to be in the top 3 fattest nations in the world, if not number 1. I know China and Mexico are up there too. And so, get these kids in the morning, right when they get there, just have them do, like, jumping jacks or some stretching. You don't need to do anything bonkers. Do something for, like, 5 minutes, or maybe even that's too long. I don't know, but you figure it out. I think calisthenics in the morning is much more beneficial to our children in this country than a Pledge of Allegiance. It's just weird. Don't you? It's a bit wacky, and I know some of you are probably going to be like, oh, that's fucking commie stuff right there. No, not really. Just think about it. Just think about it. Do you really need to do that every morning? I remember when I was a kid, I was sick of it. I was like, God, again? Some kids wouldn't stand. Some kids did it because they were really into it, and they went ROTC, and you better watch out for those kids. Maybe shooting at protesters, you know what I'm saying? So, it's sad, but true. Anyway, people, all I'm saying is let's update some things. Star Spangled Banner, I think I've given you at least 5 or 6 damn good songs and artists to figure that one out. The Pledge of Allegiance, let's go make these kids more active. Get rid of it. Keep the Pledge of Allegiance if you're becoming a citizen, or there's a new flag and you're, like, rolling it up the pole. I don't know when you would use a Pledge of Allegiance. Anyway, oh man, I'm gonna get kicked out of this country soon. All right, let's wrap up this rambling podcast today and read from Angelo's diary. I got to get a little jingle for this section of the podcast. It's Angelo's diary. What is it gonna be? Probably nonsense. Doop doop doo 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 doo. Yeah. Okay. Here is a movie idea. I remember this movie idea when I was in the shower, and I did too many bong rips before the shower, and I think the hotness of the water and the cotton mouth and all that crap was kind of killing me in there. But I had a really good idea for a movie, like I always do. Here it is. From the perspective of a dog. So already it's amazing. From the perspective of a dog that helps people. Maybe a police dog, or a firefighter dog, or a hospital dog, or something like that. There's no dialogue with the dog. It's only from the humans, and he or she, because, it doesn't matter the sex of the dog, picks it up. But you never hear the dog talk, or really make much noises. But you follow this dog when he tries to save people. Now, again, it depends on the job. Now, I thought of service-level dogs, but I really do want to keep it either as a police or a firefighter or like a hospital dog or a caretaker dog, something that the dog has to put its life on the line. Maybe it's in Afghanistan or something. I don't know. And the dog also has a family that he belongs to. And the big thing in this movie is the music. There's constant music in this movie. So I don't foresee this movie being longer than maybe an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 20, maybe even shorter. This isn't a long movie, is what I'm trying to say. The music is music such as Father John Misty, Ray LaMontagne, Iron and Wine, music like that. And the cartoon style is kind of like that artsy-fartsy style from France. Think of the Triplets of Belleville style, or Persepolis? Is that the name of the movie? Persepolis. Persepolis, I think. Those are just two French animated movies that I saw, and the style always stuck out to me. I'm sure there's others. And depending on the situation of the movie dictates the music, but I want it to be kind of that Americana folk rock, country rock, alternative country kind of style that those artists have. Maybe a little bit of soul thrown in. Again, I really want it to be kind of that level of music. The music comes from... Oh, I'm skipping ahead here. Oh, okay. I added this bit later. The music comes from an owner that has passed. His previous owner is dead. I don't remember that part. So maybe I was thinking that this dog was a service dog in the military. Maybe it is in Afghanistan, or maybe he or she was in a battleground and it, quote unquote retired, and now it's living a civilian life, but at a hospital as a caretaker or something. And it gets triggered every now and then by certain noises or certain levels of voice from a human that you flash back to when the dog was maybe in Iraq or something. And it's very sad when it's flashbacks. So whenever the dog gets back on a situation like that, he hears the music from his dead master. Oh, I think I know what I'm trying to say here. So his dead master was the one singing all these songs. It just happens to be Iron and Wine, Father John Misty, Ray LaMontagne, and Durka Durka Durka. And so whenever the song comes up, the dog gets sad. So at the end of the movie, the dog does something heroic and dies, which is sad. But I want it to be a very psychedelic scene where the dog kind of gets into doggy heaven or pet heaven or heaven, whatever the afterlife is. I haven't figured that one out yet. And he's basically told he's a good boy, and he sees his dead master. I'm already getting teared up here, people. I'm legitimately getting teared up thinking of this movie that doesn't exist except outside my head. But the thing is, in pet heaven, you get the chance to reincarnate yourself, and so the dog spends time with his dead master, but the only time you ever hear the dog talk, he tells his master, "I love you, but I have more work to do, so I'm going to go back to Earth." The dog can either be reincarnated as a cat, be kind of a joke, and so he can kindly live that lazy life that he never got to do because he was, fighting in the military and then at home as a caretaker or a police dog or something. And now he can finally spend his next life just relaxing. And I would like the music to shift to something more mellow, relaxing, and maybe just acoustic guitar. Maybe in the background you hear ocean waves or nature or something. Anyway, that's what I think is a really good idea for a movie. You don't really have a movie in that style that I can think of where it follows an animal and it's a serious not a conversation. What am I trying to say here? It's a serious look at what we as humans do to these animals that we try to kind of take with us, these companions. There's so many animals that we depend on for so many things that sometimes it's hard to think of things through the perspective of these animals. It's hard to have a little bit of empathy for these animals because we view them as animals. A lot of people view humans as the top dog, if you will. And I think we can get in trouble that way because we have to share this planet with all these animals. So anyway, I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about this movie that doesn't exist outside my head, but I really think it's a good idea. Anyway, leave a comment or something, because it's on YouTube. You don't have any excuses now, suckers. Tell me what you think about my movie ideas. This one's dear to my heart. I really should start copyrighting these ideas in case some jabroni in Hollywood hears this podcast and starts making all my movies and I get fucked out of my money. But anyway, oh man. I don't know. I got a new coffee machine, and I'm telling you, I cannot make a cup of coffee in that's not borderline Turkish or Algerian coffee. I'm talking dark, dank coffee. It's like almost drinking molasses. It's so thick. And I don't know. I follow the instructions. I even cut down on what they tell me, and it's still too strong. Maybe it's the coffee, but as you can tell, I'm very hyper. I'm jacked up on caffeine, like so many people. Anyway, I love y'all. Let me know what you think of what I was talking about. Please leave a comment or something, like and subscribe, and all that nonsense. Anyway, I love y'all. And it's a sad. Oh, before I end it, one more thing. I say that Chadwick Boseman died, Black Panther, and he played Jackie Robinson. And I mean, you know who I'm talking about. It's very, very, very sad. It's really a shit year. It's really bad. But let's hope. Anyway, I love y'all, and everyone take it easy. Peace.